Okay, I think we are live now. I do apologize initially for some technical issues, but we are back live. And today we have with us Gregor from Handle. Welcome, Gregor.
Thank you very much, and pleasure to be here.
We are so happy to have you here. And today we are going to learn everything there is to learn about Handle, the payment system of the future, I would call it. So, Gregor, let's start out right away. Who are you? Who is your team? And yeah, let's learn everything about you.
Yeah. Okay. So, my name is Gregor. I'm the CEO of HANDL Pay.
Yeah.
And just for context, so I've been in the payment space for almost 20 years now. I come from the traditional payments world, so I have all these TradFi sensibilities, and we've been in crypto now for almost 6 years, building products that are like leveraging the blockchain and new technologies that we have nowadays, but still like really connected to the TradFi space. I think that's a space where a lot of the users are. And the challenge is to make the new technologies available in an easy way for those people to use it. We are not quite there yet. Aside from myself, we're still a fairly small team, so we're around 6 people, plus part-timers on a need-based level.
Mhm.
We have 4 core team members. Aside from myself, we have Ivan, our CTO. And then we have Karina, who is our marketing lead, and we have Barry, who comes from the compliance side and is also taking care of operational aspects.
Super. And could you tell a little bit about the vision, your personal vision and the company vision for where payments are going, and what elements you use to be different?
Yeah, so this is something I literally could talk about for hours, right? Let me.
Yeah, I also love payment talk, so I'll be here.
Payments is a wild space. And I guess it always depends on who you're speaking to. If you're speaking to like crypto degens, it's a very different audience, and they would probably argue that the way crypto payments work today is all good, it's fine, right?
Right.
But then if you're speaking to people on the street who are trying to receive $10 or $20, you're trying to explain them how to use stable coins. They look at you with 2 big eyes and they don't understand anything. And especially if you're trying to explain them the difference between the 100 different US dollar pegged stable coins. And the fact that they're living on different chains as well. So then you're really probably hitting the biggest question marks right there. I think that's that's also kind of the segue what we're trying to achieve and solve with HANDL Pay.
Mm-hmm.
Our vision really is to make peer-to-peer payments, and I'm talking specifically about casual, everyday peer-to-peer payments, not the one-off $10,000 transaction.
No.
How to make these casual payments as simple as a card payment. Card payments, I always say they are the benchmark for payments today, right? The card payment you can do while you're half asleep. You tap a card and money flows to the merchant and to the recipient automatically. I mean, the card networks take care of it. Every other payment method in the world shifts that whole burden to the paying party. So if you are sending money, be it with crypto or in traditional payments, the sender has to first figure out, like, okay, where does the recipient live? How can they receive a payment? How do you route those funds, across borders? Maybe you have to figure out currency conversion. You have to collect names. If you're using crypto, you have to collect addresses. You have to do cross-chain. All that stuff, right? And that is just too complex for ordinary people. And that's what we are here to solve. So our mission really is to make payments as simple as a card tap, using blockchain technology and stable coins for it, without the user needing to understand the whole tech part behind, right?
No, I think it's brilliant, and I see so many also possibilities to optimize later on with your solution. So I'm already very, very deep into your solution, and I think it's very brilliant what you have invented. I would call it an invention, and the narrative around it. I think it's brilliant. Also because we are speaking to an audience who doesn't know what all these numbers next to each other called wallet address. What is that? It doesn't make sense to them. And we take it for granted, but I think you have the solution here for mass adoption. So well done, Gregor and team. But I also wanted to learn a little bit about the product deep dive. So if you could deep dive into what's gonna come, what are the roadmap for this product going forward?
Yeah, so maybe let me give you some context and explain how we got started.
Yeah.
When we were building out the first MVP, the idea is to solve a payment problem for people who run a little store on Instagram. And you'd be surprised, there are 50 million of them, right? So it's like, I'm talking to people who have this little Instagram page and sell handbags or cookies or some services, whatever it is. But these are individuals, and these people cannot accept card payments. And whenever you had a sale, there's a lot of DMs going back and forth. How can you pay me? Do you have PayPal? Do you have this? Do you have that? And so we really built a product that allows anybody to basically pay an Instagram username with a credit card. That was the initial MVP. But then it became pretty quickly apparent that the use cases, are actually much broader than just that, especially if you widen it to other social usernames like a TikTok, a LinkedIn, or messengers like Telegram and WhatsApp numbers. And that's basically how we came to be where we are today with Handle Pay, like payments of handles or WhatsApp numbers. And a lot of smaller businesses or people running a side gig, they are based on either on WhatsApp as a distribution channel or on Instagram or on any other social network. But what's missing today is the payment piece. That payment is always completely separated. Like you can order from a chatbot on WhatsApp, but typically you cannot pay if the recipient is an individual.
No, it's true.
So that's the overall context. When we started off, we did a lot of experimentation, where how to acquire users on these different social networks, as an example, figuring out the use cases that we should really focus on, also from a marketing perspective. And we did. We took a few turns along the way because you learn, right? And what really became apparent is for us right now, and this is what we're focusing on, is 3 channels that work very well. One is Telegram, WhatsApp, and Instagram. This is the major focus. And as part of that, we have built the whole rebuilt the onboarding journey or onboarding flow for these platforms. And at this point, we are really focused on removing the steps or removing the clicks. You can onboard with your WhatsApp number with 2 clicks, and you can start receiving payments. And what's coming next is really more simplicity in how you're going to spend what you're receiving. Like receiving is one part, but then people want to be able to spend it. And when it comes to spend, you have basically 3 different channels. One is you send it out to another crypto user. For the crypto people, that's pretty straightforward. But the other spend function is to pay a merchant, be it with a QR code or like through an attached card. And the third spend option, and this is one that's very important in emerging markets, is you want to be able to convert it back to your local currency, either through a local wallet or through your bank account. And so these are the areas we are focusing on right now. Together with overall UI UX updates.
Amazing. And you also have a token, the Handle token, with some great.
That's correct. We have it on paper today. It's not live
Yes.
yet.
No.
So yeah, but that's a good point. So when it comes to tokens, I think that's I have seen, and you guys probably as well, there's so many tokens out there, and it's like a lot of it is really, in my view, it's just monopoly, right? This is a monopoly play. What we've been trying to do with HANDL from the very start is integrate it into the product experience as deeply as possible. The token has to be linked to the product, and also to the revenue streams of the product. So obviously, if you have a token, you cannot receive revenues from the product, then it would be security. But if the cash flow the product generates flows back into the treasury, then at least the overall incentives are aligned.
Correct.
So how did we integrate the token into the product? There is two main parts that I guess are important to mention. One is the main utility is transaction fees. So you make a payment to a social username, you got to pay for the transaction fee,
right?
And that includes the gas tokens needed for the underlying chain. So if your wallet is, let's say, on Polygon or on Ethereum, you need ETH, right? But a normal, or let's say not a normal user, but like a user who has not been in crypto before, they probably wouldn't have ETH in their wallet to trigger, to trigger that stablecoin transaction. So we at HANDL Pay, we are paying those gas fees, but we are basically getting reimbursed from the user using our HANDL token. So the business model is very simple. We charge a transaction fee, call it a convenience fee, a service fee, and we add any other costs that we incur on top of it. And the entire fee is then basically paid by the user in HANDL tokens. So that's number one. And number two of the token is if you stake the token, then you get access to premium features. And that also forces us to build premium features that people are willing to stake the token for, right? And those premium features, they are, like at the beginning, they're more like aimed at people who want to get some rewards. You can get higher cash back if you make transactions, you get rewards for every single transaction you make, or you can participate in some weekly campaigns and airdrops if you're a premium member and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, as we also have more time to build out the product, like for instance, one of the premium feature will be privacy. Which today, if you make a payment to another user, a lot of people send money to an exchange first, so that you can't trace back to a sending wallet where you have all the people snooping around what other transactions you have done, right? So that's, for instance, one of the premium features that we're working on, so that you can't actually trace it back to a wallet, although you have the whole on-chain trace. And the second one is automated. I'm always struggling to explain this in a simple way, but essentially, if you're receiving, that you can set up rules how you receive payments. So let's say I'm sending you 100 USDC or USDT or whatever, that you can set up an inbound rule that says, hey, for every payment I receive, I want to purchase or convert 20% in Bitcoin. Or I want to aggregate all the payments I get into USDT or USDC or whatever you want. So kind of set up rules how all the funds that are sent to your username or your WhatsApp number, how they are actually going to be represented in your wallet, right? You can set up pooling rules or auto conversions, etc. And there is many more. I mean, the point at the end of the day is we need to invest in our resources into building features that people are willing to stake the token for.
Makes so much sense. And one feature I would love to hear a little bit about was that farming feature, the transaction farming feature. Is that also something you could just mention? Like what is the exact API and how's it going to work?
Yeah, it's not the typical farm that Like this is something we're not going to do. We're not going to just airdrop tokens out to everyone. That will just, will just hurt us later on, right? No. So with transaction farming, what I'm actually referring to is if you're making, let's say, payments based on certain rules, let's say based on a minimum amount, or as long as it's not ping pong back and forth, that you earn rewards for it. And those rewards can be in USDC. They can be in other tokens of projects we collaborate with. They can be in form of, higher airdrop rewards, etc. But if you think about it, to maybe make it a bit more, and unfortunately, I cannot announce anything specific, but we're very close, actually. but so basically, just to give you an example of how that would work is, right now we are able to, route payments in stablecoins, in USDC as an example.
Right.
But our product is also extremely appealing to brands who have, or projects that have a token, or like meme coins, because what you can do with it is similar to, Sealy campaigns and Galaxy, all these Web3 campaigns where you do airdrop rewards. With our product, you can do the same in Web2. If you are a brand or you're an influencer and you post a story on Instagram and you tell people that, the first 10 people who engage or reshare this story, I'm going to airdrop tokens to your username. You can do this with us because you can airdrop it to an Instagram username, right?
It's pretty
so
smart.
This opens up a whole new world from an engagement perspective when it comes to Web2. But now, in order to airdrop a specific token to, it's unless it's USDC, we need to add it to our routing system. Call it a listing or call it an addition or whatever. And typically we will charge for it. But, if we don't charge, then we would also get compensated in getting tokens for our community or premium tier members, etc., etc. So that's just one example, but there are also others. But just to be very clear, we are not going to just use our own treasury token of HANDL to airdrop it to user. We're not going to play these games. The rewards will be rewards that, are either revenue streams or they are fees or tokens from other projects that want to collaborate.
Right. And I do want to ask you, Gregor, how did you get that traction that you have? Because I remember you have something like 280,000 users.
No, it's more than that.
Okay, it's already grown since I read it. How much?
But let me shed some light on this. So as I mentioned earlier, we did a lot of experimentation because the critical part with payment products or payment ventures in that sense is you're in a reputational industry. And at the end of the day, nobody will use a payment product unless they trust you or unless there's already thousands of other users using the product, right? So the user acquisition is something that is extremely, extremely challenging and one of the most important steps when, launching a new payment product, especially if you're not an existing brand. Now, we did a lot of experimentation with that. And what we realized is for us, the best way to drive adoption in the Web2 space is by first focusing on Web3. So we had a lot of signups, especially also from Telegram, from people who, wanted to try out a new product. And I guess the Web3 folks are just more inclined to test out new stuff versus, traditional Web2 users. Many of them probably also have signed up and tried it because they were hoping maybe there is some free airdrops down the road or something. Who knows? But obviously, we tried different strategies. Either it's incentivized, not incentivized, referral programs, etc., etc. And that, across all these many months, all these different user acquisition experiments, we have just accumulated all these people. It's close to 300,000 social media accounts that we have signed up now.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, at this point, some of them may not be, users that transact every week. But this is going to be our next mission. The next mission really is to how do you reactivate and activate users you have. But first, you have to solve the basic acquisition problem. How do you get users? How do you convey your message? How do you explain your value proposition? And how do you simplify the onboarding flow? And that's for us the absolute top priority right now.
I'm super stoked about it, and I can't wait for us to launch you. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about the RWA Inc. and the HANDL partnership and the client relationship here. So is there anything you want to ask us? Because now it's the first time we actually have an AMA where we can really go in depth with all the great questions. So is there anything you need help for, you feel that could be extra helpful, maybe some community engagement or any other thing? Now's the time to do the ask.
Yeah, actually, we already did have some conversations with some of your team members.
Yeah.
I think as well as your name says, right? Like, I mean, we are here about real world stuff. We are not building all this fancy fun products. And I think from an ecosystem and network perspective, there is quite a few synergies actually from projects and companies that you have in your ecosystem. So I think there's definitely some synergies in terms of collaboration, integration with some projects. We've already spoken to some of them. And of course, once we have that, then, cross-pollination of community, etc., does make a lot of sense. But generally, I prefer to nail the product first or the integration piece and engage the community afterwards.
I think that's
versus the other way around.
Yeah. And definitely you have the traction. So I think it's a good strategy. And now I want to find out if we can have some questions from our community directly to you, Gregor, if that's okay. So,
absolutely.
We will open up now for questions from the holders to HANDL. So I will look at Telegram, our own Telegram, and see if there are questions popping up, and also on X. So let's see if we have some curious community. Let me see here. Okay, so one question would be, when do you think the token is ready to be launched?
Yeah, the token is ready now in a way, but not to be launched now, right? So what we want to do before we launch the token is two things. Number one, we need to complete the whole integration into the product. Right now, it's not part of the product. The token or the fee calculation is not part of it. And the second thing is we want to drive some initial demand for the token as well. There is no point of just launching the token, getting it listed, and then there is absolutely no demand for it. So those are two of the most important things. The plan is to do it in Q4 now. But yes, obviously, we need to solve the demand piece first, and need to also do some exposure for it, right? So right now there's not that much exposure, but that will come soon.
Okay. And where do you see the project in just 1, 2, 3 years from now? How big can this get?
So I'm very honest here. There is two routes we can take. And today we don't know which is the one that yields the highest opportunity. And the token is important in both. One is what we are doing right now, focusing on retail users, on onboarding all these people from Web 2. And this is also something that puts us in a unique position because not many projects have that ability to onboard complete newbies. But of course, like as if we onboard more and more people, and they make payments, or they want to even stake the token to get access to features, then of course that has a big impact in terms of the valuation of the project. But another avenue is also that we start collaborating with existing players, with existing wallets, with remittance companies, and we're talking to some of them right now. And the idea there is obviously more on a B2B side, right? So if you have, like, let's say you're in a Venmo, with Venmo or a Grab or any of the other big players or smaller ones in some countries, these wallets are usually local, domestic only. And if you could easily just make a payment to a WhatsApp number, as an example, and that routes through our APIs, then that could drive much more volume for us as well, right? So back to your question, obviously we want to build this company to, $3-digit million business. And we are a low FTV project today, but and it takes a while to get there. But we will see what allows us to really get the best traction and basically take it from there. So long story short, maybe we'll retain a B2C model, maybe we'll pivot to a B2B play, but the token will have a use case in both of them. In the B2B world, it's more that you use the token for the API calls. But yeah, there is a case for both.
One user asked, I signed up for HANDL and noticed it connects social accounts to wallets. If social media platforms like X or Meta launch their own wallet system, what will HANDL's main advantage or MOAT in that scenario?
Yeah, that's a question I guess I hear every few weeks or every few days. And it's always like, what if Meta, right? But I mean, look, let them do it. So far, they haven't done it in that sense. But we are also not seeing ourselves as a competitor. We also get asked, like, what if PayPal does the same thing?
Exactly.
For us, we are not. So first of all, we are not a wallet. We are a connecting piece. We are very eager to work and collaborate with wallets. We would be very happy to work and collaborate with X or with Meta. But so let's say if Meta, to answer the question specifically, if Meta would do the exact same thing and allow people to make payments to Instagram and Facebook usernames and WhatsApp numbers, then we can easily also focus on other social networks that are not covered, like TikTok, like Telegram usernames. There is enough out there, right? So and Meta obviously won't cover usernames of other social networks. but I mean, it's very hypothetical at this point. It could also be the scenario that if we get traction faster and we get into like some pretty good companionship from an integration perspective with big players, it could also become an acquisition play, right? So we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but long story short, that I think the narrative of payments connected to social just helps us. It gives us strong tailwind, and this is something that is a huge opportunity in the industry, and it has not been captured.
So one user asks, what measures are in place to ensure user data protection and regulatory compliance? That's also an interesting question.
Yeah, and that's a good one. So from a regulatory or compliance perspective, as I said, we are not a wallet. We do not want to be one, and we also don't want to be a custodian. So we don't touch funds. So in that sense, we are steering clear from any compliance issues. However, the regulatory aspects come in when users start to use funds they received, right? So if a user, as an example, if a user wants to withdraw it to a local wallet, let's say you're sending 20 USDC to a WhatsApp number from Colombia. Now that user in Colombia wants to withdraw it to a local wallet like Nequi or Bancolombia or whatever it is. At that point, compliance kicks in. And we are working with off-ramp partners. And obviously, we'd have to adhere to the compliance requirements from those partners. In most cases, it's also that the user has to undergo KYC through those partners. Now, This is one of the key points for our selection criteria when we collaborate with partners. The user journey has to be simple, right? Like there's no point to do KYC where users get sent to 3 different pages. But at the same time, we cannot and do not want to do it because we are not a licensed company. So we do want to outsource this. But this is where compliance kicks in. So in terms of safety, maybe, or security aspect, that was also part of the question, I believe.
Yeah.
So look, when you sign up, let's say quick sign up journey, you go to our website, you click the WhatsApp button, you sign up with WhatsApp, you get an initial default wallet. This default wallet is based on the Circle stack. So we're working with the Circle programmable wallets. And you can detach. So this is the wallet where all the payments sent to your WhatsApp numbers get routed to. You can detach that wallet and attach your MetaMask wallet or your Ledger wallet or whatever else you have. That's where the funds will be. So in that sense, the security is guaranteed as long as you don't compromise your private keys, right? But that's essentially, if from a security perspective, how that's guaranteed. We had another user, by the way, who attached not the Ledger or the MetaMask wallet address, but he attached a wallet address from, to mention a name, from Revolut, because these apps also have deposit addresses for crypto, and that's a great use case as well, right? So now everyone can receive payments to a WhatsApp number. It immediately ends up in his Revolut account, and he can spend it. So it's a great use case. But in this case, again, the security is outsourced to Revolut because the funds go straight to that Revolut address.
Beautiful, beautiful. So another user asks what the next big milestone is, like 6-12 months from now. What do you think will be the biggest milestone in the next 6 to 12 months?
So from a product perspective, it's definitely going to be the whole integration with the token. And the whole reward system and all that, because that's a fundamental part in the whole user acquisition strategy. It powers this growth flywheel. But then I think from a product perspective as well, we are going to launch something, for the lack of a better word, an escrow contract. And what does it do? Today, if you want to pay a WhatsApp number or an Instagram user, the recipient needs to sign up with us. Otherwise, if you make a payment, you'll get a message, user not found. And that escrow contract is going to simplify this, because you will be able to send a payment to a WhatsApp, an Instagram user, even if they've never heard of us. And then your funds will actually be parked in that escrow contract. And then the recipient gets an invitation code, an invite code, and can claim those funds. And that will then take the user through the sign-up flow. And if it's not claimed, it just comes back to you, right? But this would be the perfect case for, let's say, if you want to make an airdrop to 50 Instagram users. You just basically do an airdrop to 50 Instagram names, even if they have not signed up with us. And then if people don't claim their airdrop, it just goes back to you, right? So, but that's I think going to definitely also build on top of the whole user acquisition strategy and allows us to push or push harder in terms of user adoption.
Another user asks, are there plans to add more supported blockchains or tokens soon? And how does the team decide which one to prioritize?
Yes, on the chains, absolutely. And that's also something that's, to be very honest, it's not that easy, even not nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of great bridges and products out there, but either they don't support this or don't support that. And also, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. So we're right now looking to replace some of our bridges with new ones. The idea is to really have an intent-based system where you collaborate with different providers at the end of the day to move funds cross-chain for funds that are available across different chains. Right. So to answer that question, right now the focus is mostly on EVM compatibility. But yes, we want to expand this to other chains, other big chains, and of course, like also from a token perspective, where you have tokens like USDC, T, etc., that's available on different chains.
Beautiful. Well, you answered all the questions, and I must say I'm even more bullish now that I've spoken to you. This is truly a great project, and I cannot wait for the launch and also the listing on the launch platform that we have. So yeah, I'm just super excited about the whole thing, and great to meet you finally in person, online
Almost
here.
in person.
And yeah, I just want to thank everybody for actually spending their Sunday listening to both me and Gregor here, but it's definitely worth it. And I think you will have a tremendously good success with your project. We are happy to be here. We will definitely aim in ourselves and also recommend our community to go all in here. I think you have demonstrated with a plus 300,000 user acquisition already that you are not to be joked with. This is going to be something that will scale, and it will scale fast. That is already documented, and we will probably see user growth in the millions once you really get out with the token and everything. So definitely in my book, when I check all the due diligence, everything checks green, and also the founder strategy and the whole execution around the token, the brand, the brilliance of all of that coming together. I think it's worth giving a shout out here to you, Gregor, and the team. Absolute crazy execution to make this happen already. And yeah, we'd be happy to continue to support you. And if you have anything you want to say here before we wrap up, but that's actually was my my end speech here. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the flowers. But yes, of course, like if there's more questions, we are here. I'm happy to, drop it in either our community chat or in yours, and we'll see if we can get it forwarded.
Yeah.
Happy to answer any questions. Our community chat is more focused on product. So we also actually going to launch a new series of some features that we are going to showcase.
Yeah.
So happy to answer any questions out there and hear the feedback. What you think about the product? What you think we could improve? Very open to hear your thoughts and curious. Excited to launch on RWA as well. And let's see where it goes.
Yeah, let's do it, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we will see each other soon again.
Likewise.
Thanks, HANDL.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.